So it's been a year since I bought my Yale Real Living touchscreen deadbolt, the YRD220 with Z-Wave. And I thought I'd just give a quick review since it was probably one of the most expensive pieces that I bought for my home automation system. So overall, I really like it. I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. Some of the pros, it's got really good battery life. I got about a year on the set of batteries that came with it, which were kind of just generic batteries. It's got a ton of different options that you can play with. I don't even use half of them. I'll go into some of the things that I do. I use the Vera controller. I'll go into that in just a few minutes here. But some of the things it has, it's got an auto relock function, so you can automatically relock it after it's been unlocked. You can choose the length of passwords. It has a privacy mode, so you can lock out all the codes if you want. And also has a key, so if you for some reason have a battery failure, you can use the manual key here. There's really only two cons that I have with this lock. The first is, the biggest one for me, is it doesn't have a way to send to my Vera controller when I lock it. So what I do is just touch it like that, and that locks it, but it doesn't know that it was locked from the outside. So it only knows if it was locked, not from the outside. So I'd like to run some scenes on my controller based on if it was locked from the outside. But unfortunately, both Yale and Vera are saying it's the other person's fault, and it's still not working for me. So that's my main con. The other thing is the touchscreen isn't super sensitive, so what I've found the best is I just kind of press fairly hard with my 3 fingers like that, and then I can either lock the door or type in my code.
Time expired.
Time expired, but if I just press with 1 finger lightly, you'll see that it doesn't activate the touchscreen, which can be frustrating if you're carrying groceries or something, trying to unlock it. So this is what the inside of the lock looks like. To change the batteries, you just loosen this screw, this cover pops up, and there's 4 AA batteries in there. So it's really easy to change the batteries. Like I said, I've only had to change them once after a year, so that's been great. To manually lock or unlock from inside, you can just turn it like any normal deadbolt. So one of the things I was nervous about when I first got this lock was battery life. I'd read some reviews that people said they weren't getting very good battery life at all, maybe 2 to 3 months. But other reviews noted that you get much longer life as long as this locking mechanism here is free of any obstructions as it's opening or closing. So I just made sure when I installed it that it was fully free of obstructions. So I think that's one of the reasons that I got the good year-long battery life. So I mentioned that I use this lock with the Vera automation controller, which is why I don't use some of those other features, because I can program them all through the Vera. For example, I can use this app here just to unlock it from anywhere. So I just tap the unlock there. There it goes, it unlocks. And then my status will update on my phone. Just a second, unlocked. Another thing I can do just from this app is I can tap on the settings button up here, and I can create additional codes if I want to. So I can create a pin or delete a pin right from the app. So this is just my mobile phone. Vera gives me a lot more controls, which I'll show you right now. Okay, so here we are in the Vera interface. I'm still in UI 5, haven't upgraded yet. Eventually I'll get around to upgrading. So this is where you'd set up the pin codes. So you can go in here and add a new code, remove a code, or even restrict code. So here's my test code I just created. So if I wanted to, I could just click on this, please select restrict code. I could choose to restrict it daily or weekly. So what daily is it'll make it valid from a specific day until a specific day, which is nice. And then weekly, you can set it up maybe for an employee or something like that, so they can only get in Monday through Friday between a specific time, or a housekeeper, anything like that. So it's really helpful if you need to restrict access between a specific time range. This lock can support 250 access codes, which gives you a lot of different customization options. Okay, next we'll go over to device options. This is where you can set up some of those advanced settings. So you can choose language, English, French, or Spanish if you needed to, silent mode. This is where you could set your auto relock, so you could have it automatically relock right after you've opened it. And then this is what you'd set the time for when it would actually relock. Wrong entry code limit is where you can set the number of tries that people have to enter a code. If they exceed that number, it'll shut down for the time you specify down in this setting here. You can also have the lock send you notifications, so you can send a notification based on who unlocked the door, if the code entry limit has been exceeded, if it's been tampered with, just if it's been unlocked or locked. There's all sorts of options there which are great. Having an internet connected door lock has been very helpful for me. A couple of times I've needed to either lock the door because I've forgotten to lock it, or unlock it. I one time had a neighbor go in and shut off my water for me, which was very helpful. Another time, just needed to let a neighbor in to borrow something. So it's been very helpful to be able to lock and unlock the door remotely, and even give out codes to family members so I can let them in when I'm still at work, things like that. So overall, I highly recommend it. For me, it's performed great. I also think it looks really nice. So yeah, 4.5 stars from me. If you have any questions at all, feel free to post them in the comments and I will do my best to answer.